What up, what up? No, I'm not going to say what up, what up. At least I've made more than 10 videos in this series 5-minute PHP. So let me try something different. Hi, how are you? I'm also fine. Let's continue. So I'm just trying to change things a little bit. The reason why I'm changing things a little bit is because of I'm trying to go against what we have said before. We've said this is a 5-minute PHP series, but now I want to introduce a little bit of HTML because I feel like this has been PHP heavy and it's boring, and also at this point in time I am comfortable that we are leveling up. So we are not like in the first stage where we uh, feel like we are babies, we must be fed like smooth stuff. Now we are starting to level up a little bit. So this video is going to be a little bit longer. I'm just going to create a PHP form. What I want to do, I want to put things into perspective. Whatever that we have done up to this far, I want to show you how can you use those in more like in real life. So I don't like to be more conceptual like 100% of the time. There must be a room whereby we do the practical. So let's do something different and something interesting. Let's just do a little bit of HTML. So in this video we will be more like integrating PHP and HTML. Let me just first save. Okay, let me just delete everything. Since we are changing things, let me just delete everything and open a new PHP tag and close it. Okay, in case you are new to this channel, I'm Matthew Msengati, the designer and developer. This is my channel Coded Design, where I teach coding and user interface design. So now in this video, by leveling up, I mean number one, we will be integrating PHP with HTML, and that is okay, and that is not necessarily a beginner's concept. So hence I'm saying we are leveling up a little bit. We're leveling up a little bit. So this will be a PHP tag. As you can see that the file type or the file extension is PHP. So this is a PHP file. So whenever you want to write an HTML inside a PHP script, what you do, you just write it outside the PHP script. So it's like the whole document is HTML, even if the file extension is PHP. But when we want to embed PHP, we just open the tags and close them. So if we want to write an HTML form, let's go outside PHP. The best way to do it will be to do it above the opening and closing tag. You can also do it here, that won't be a problem. So how do you write a PHP form? Obviously this is not an HTML series or course, so I'm not going to explain everything in details for now. Take things theoretically. However, if you feel like you want to know more, please shoot a comment below. So let's write an HTML form. Boom, this is an HTML form. This, we are opening the HTML and then we are closing it. Okay, when you are writing an HTML form always connects to a PHP script. So this action is asking us, where do you want to take the data to? So we want to take the data to index.php. Which file is that? This is the file. That means that when we are saying to index.php, whereas we are inside index, we are just saying that HTML form which is embedded in PHP, take the data that you are going to receive from the client and send it to the same file where you are in. I hope that makes sense. So this is the action. So in this form opening tag, I'm gonna leave some of the attributes for a reason, because I don't want to feed you with information and you are not aware of what will happen if you might miss some of the information. It will help you with your debugging skill to know that if this doesn't happen, then this is what I have missed. So we are going to leave the form attributes only here. So what the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna add an input. It's going to be a text. What is an input? This is just that box where you type in and put whatever information that you want. The other input that we need is a button in a form, because we must submit the button to somewhere, and that is it. So let's quickly run and see what will happen. As you can see, we've got the input and also we've got the button, even though our button doesn't have the content inside. Let's just say submit. Let's just say this is a submit button. Okay, so as you have seen, we just got the basics. Okay, now if we click submit, there is nothing that will happen. You see, nothing that happened. As you can see here, it's refreshing. It's telling us that it's taking this information to somewhere, but something is not wrong. We are not finished, we are not done. Something is missing. So I will fix that something is missing. But if it's refreshed, it refreshes here, it's telling us that it's sending that information to the same PHP script. Okay, let me introduce something that is also not part of the beginners, var dump. I'm not gonna explain it much, but when I'm using it, you will have an idea of what it does. Now let's go to PHP. Let me just say PHP here, so that we can know when we are working on PHP and when we are on HTML, because we'll be jumping from HTML to PHP. Okay, so this is HTML just outside PHP. Now let's get to PHP. Let's say var dump open bracket variable underscore post. Okay, var dump simply means let me display what is inside these brackets on screen. It's very, very different from echo that we've been using. As I've told you that now we are trying to level up a little bit. We are on another step. We're talking of var dump. I will explain it later, but for now take it as if we are displaying whatever that is inside these brackets on screen. Okay, let's quickly go and check and see. Okay, what are we displaying? At the moment there is an array. This means that this post, this $_ post, it's an array, but it's an empty array. Yes, you are right, that's the case. It's an empty array. Where is it coming from? Because we didn't declare, we didn't talk about it. As you can see that there is nothing that talks about it here. Okay, the only thing that I'm going to tell you so far that it's a super global. It's a variable that is available in the entire application. What it does, you will see it now what it does. So it's a variable that is always available. What it does, I will show you. Okay, coming back to the PHP form, I told you that there is something missing here. Whenever you send the information to this form, it's not being caught. That's why there is nothing happening, meaning that we are sending this name Matthew to the same PHP file, but this PHP file is not catching it. The reason is, first of all, we need another attribute here. We have told the form that it must submit the information to index, but we have not told it that this is the method of sending it. So now we are telling it that, okay, in one of the methods in which you use to send data to a PHP file, use a method post. Now we are getting there. We are getting there. Now let's see what will happen. We've got a form, opening and closing form. We have told the form where to submit the information. We have told it the method of submitting the information. It has got an input and it has got a button. Let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen. Okay, refresh. Nothing happens still. Why? Because the submit button must be given a name which is called submit. So the reason why I'm doing this step by step, I want you also to understand that if something doesn't happen, you must go and check if did I do this. If something doesn't happen, you must be able to check if did I do this. I would like to believe that forms part of your debugging skill, to trace where the error is. So that's why I'm teaching you this way, instead of just giving you this and you don't really know if what if I don't mention, what if I don't include this, what will happen. So let's go and check again to check if what is going to happen to our form. Matthew, nothing happens. Now let's just double check what we might have missed. As you can see that my method is not method, it's method. This one is purely my error and I was not teaching you anything. It's just a pure mistake. Click and save, and that's it. Let's see, refresh and say Matthew, submit. Wow, now the array that we spoke about, which is post, it has got something, it has caught something. As you can see now, it's telling us that it has received submit, but it only received submit and it's an empty string. But what about the text that we have put here? Okay, let's go back. As you can see that the submit button has got the name, but the input text type doesn't have the name. Let's give it a name. Let's say it's text name, txt name. Okay, at least we are going there. Now I've got a question for you. Do you get, or do you know now what this post does? Because I didn't explain to you what it does. I said to you I'm going to show you what it does. So that means it has caught something. That means it has received something. As it is a super global, it is always available in the, let's say, in the PHP engine as a variable that will always be there. So it's responsible for catching information that is being sent from the user interface, in this case from this form. So let's just refresh now and see Matthew, submit. Now as you can see, the text name is here, and inside it there is a string with a length of 7, and that is Matthew, and submit has got nothing. So guys, obviously this tutorial has broken all the rules, and we have went against our own word, because I said this is a 5-minute PHP series, but now I'm doing HTML. I wanted to bring you something that is interesting, and also I wanted to some sort of challenge you and spice things up a little bit. Otherwise, I did that for the sake of giving you the context and also expanding your horizon. Otherwise, for me, Matthew Msengati, that is it. Thanks for watching. Please do me a favor and subscribe.